And our special guest here today,
Aaron Robinson.
That's right. He's joined us with this new magazine. Of course, the magazine is very good, as I'm hearing, called Consciousness Magazine. Mm-hmm. Can't wait to read it.
We're talking to Aaron Robinson, the CEO of Consciousness Magazine, and his sister Mozella Sullivan. And Julia Robinson is in the audience with pure inspiration this morning. And we're glad to have all of you here. And we're going to continue a little bit along the lines of just delving into a little bit of your family. Mozella, one day you were just minding your own business, and Aaron came home and said, I want to start a magazine. Or tell us how that happened and your response to it.
Well, my response was just to go for it. I'm always supportive, always there to listen. So basically, when he came to me with the idea, I was like, I think it'd be a success actually. Just standing there beside him, just letting him go ahead and just started working on a magazine.
Yeah. Get him behind and push.
Yeah.
Very supportive.
Yeah. Always words of encouragement, just inspiration.
And Julia is the events coordinator. Is that what the title is? Event coordinator?
Correct, yeah.
For people who are maybe on the other side of the world listening to us, they don't know what the west side of Chicago is about. The west side of Chicago is a place that's people live very close together, and there's a lot of violence and drugs and problems going on, and there's a lot of need in the neighborhood, a lot of need for mentoring and guidance and direction. And I minister on the west side of Chicago, and you grew up there in the midst of all that.
Yes, I lived on the west side for 3 years.
Okay.
I was going to college there, and as younger I stayed there, but we moved to Hoppers Park, which is in Kankakee.
Okay.
And I've seen a lot of things that happen. I was never the type that to get involved in violence, but I always knew, I wanted to make a change and be different from that, that environment. But soon when I graduated, it was just this heavy burden up on me, just telling me to do it, just do it. And I just started a layout with a sketch, and sometimes I just sit back and look at the first sketches that we came up with and be like, wow. Cause it's a tough job, and it's just motivating just looking at the sketches, and because I'm a graphic designer also. And
I was going to ask you what your educational background is to take on such a daunting task to put out a professional magazine, not just a magazine, but a top quality, in my opinion, smash hit with little experience. What brought all that together? Obviously God brought all that together, but nonetheless, there had to be many obstacles and starts and stops. Mozella, are you related to this young man?
A kid in here.
Yes, I'm his sister actually. About 1 year older. About 1 year.
His older sister.
Yeah. Many people will call us, my mom, as sheltering us, but it wasn't a thing of being sheltered. I think it was just a thing of just keeping us focused. Always bringing us up, letting us know about, Jesus Christ and everything, how he's there for us, things like that. So I think it was mostly, I don't know, it's just focus.
Yes,
my mom was just focused person.
She keeps you on that straight and narrow path.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
And I gather that Julia is also a sister. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
So, are there any other family members that are part of the magazine?
My sister Josephine Robinson. She's an administrative assistant.
So she's pursuing her master's, and you guys have 4 family members as part of the magazine. But that's just a very small portion of all the people that you have that are part of this magazine. Tell us a little bit about how you guys found these people. And you've got all kinds of people, different persuasions and backgrounds, men and women's, whites and African Americans.
Oh, yes.
Well-rounded.
Yes.
Something in it for just about everybody. And what I found interesting about the magazine is that it doesn't preach at me.
Mm-hmm.
It's
good
informative.
reading.
It's
Just
great reading.
Mm-hmm.
It's instructive. It's inspirational,
Mm-hmm.
and yet it doesn't throw guilt trips or downplay anybody or any group. It just uplifts.
Mm-hmm.
What I liked about it, really like the name of it, because I sat one evening reading it with a cup of chamomile tea.
Uh-huh.
And it awakened my consciousness. If I felt after reading maybe several of the articles that I was well informed, and that's phenomenal.
You gotta give me a copy after you leave the show.
Yeah.
here.
As
for
Roxy
those-
said, you don't have to touch it; it'll touch you.
touch
Well,
it.
that's
Let
a
it touch
good way to
me,
put it,
whatever
right?
it takes,
and even
as long as it's good.
even though it to me transcends a lot of the cultural barriers, I was very proud as an African American young man, good looking ladies. It really stood out amongst many of the magazines that I buy out of the stores, and so I just applaud you.
I do too. It's
Oh,
it's a
yeah.
cut above just anything that I find out there. I don't care, you name it. Newsweek, Life, Reader's Digest. They're all informative, but this just kind of nails it. And I think you're going to want to subscribe. I think if you're an advertiser, you're going to want to advertise. This is a magazine that I believe if you get hooked up with it early on as a subscriber, and more than that, if you get hooked up with it to advertise within this magazine, you're going to be the wise man in this case, because this magazine can only go up. It's something that I think that just anybody's going to want. Once you get a hold of one of these, you're going to want to subscribe.
And it's one article that you mentioned, because that, if I know this sounds crazy, but that stayed with me. I have a good friend that got deployed to Kuwait, and I wasn't satisfied. They'll call every week or whatever, and you know that everything's going smoothly. But it was just interesting to read an article, and it wasn't written whereas someone was reporting to me. It was like a conversation.
Exactly.
It was like someone telling me firsthand. It was better than Bill Curtis. And I felt that I was right there with her. I felt that I could really relate. And then, part of me, with all the propaganda and the misquotes in media, I felt like I was really getting an accurate perception of what was really going on. Over. So that's awesome. That's incredible how you've included that piece, and it stands out in your magazine.
A lot of people are trying to make a difference there. We're the prayer breakfast that I'm a member of on Friday mornings. The men of that group have taken Pembroke as a mission, so to speak, to find manufacturing and different kinds of environmental people that will come in and put roots down and provide jobs in that area, which is the only real way to solve the problem there. And that you guys are going to actually celebrate the magazine in Pembroke. Everything we do that brings attention to this wonderful area that's full of just some of the most sweetest, richest, wonderful people. They may not be rich in dollars and cents, but they have wisdom and talents and gifts, and just a desire to do some of the work that you're doing in Pembroke. I was so touched by this magazine that I wanted to just dedicate this entire show not to teaching but to inspiring, because this magazine is inspiring. And when you have an opportunity to purchase this magazine, I want to encourage you to do that. I cannot say enough about the value of parenting, of the love that comes from knowing Jesus Christ as not just as your Savior, but the Lord of your life, and inspiring your children to know Him as well. It changes everything.
It does.
And if you think that this magazine is going to tell you a lot about Jesus Christ, it doesn't. It does, but it doesn't. It doesn't preach at you. It doesn't quote scripture to you. It doesn't really drive home the message of Jesus Christ. It drives home the message of love, of family, of inspiration, of
Faith.
faith, in many different ways that this magazine touches you without preaching at you, without laying any guilt trips on you, and without making you feel like you wished you hadn't picked this up because it's just another diatribe of somebody with a bent of their own. So I want to encourage you to take a minute of your life to look up their website, to subscribe to their magazine, and to pass along the knowledge once you get this magazine, because a small magazine depends on you. If you read the magazine and you just say, that was a good magazine, lay it down, you have missed the opportunity to pass it along to the next person, and missed the opportunity to get on your computer and email your friends and say, hey, I just got turned on to this great magazine. You ought to read it too. And I'm not trying to get you to send along that message until you read the magazine, but I am trying to tell you that you can help. If you like this magazine as much as I do, if it inspires you, if you want other people to read it, as I'm reasonably sure you will, then don't just lay it down and forget about it. Don't toss it in the pile with the rest of the magazines. Pass it along. Bless somebody else. And take the time to write an email to the people that you email regularly, and encourage them to take a look at the website and make a decision for themselves whether they would like to read this magazine or not. Thanks for being with us, folks. We are honored to have you. We hope you have enjoyed the show. We hope that this magazine touches you, inspires you, and it cannot if you don't take time to